please swear that the evidence you are about to give will be nothing else but the truth, and to signify that, raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, we did not get that.
Mhlauli, we have crossed lines. The court speaks, and then there's an echo. But Mr. du Plessis has understood that the oath is binding on his conscience. He agrees upon that. And I asked him that it was requested for him to put up his right hand and say, so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, then Mr. De Mayor, you may proceed to lead the witness.
Mr. du Plessis, could you quickly, we prepared a statement for you, and I want to place on record, my lady, Mr. Vani was courteous enough to furnish us with questions that he would like to hear replies on, but this was furnished us after Mr. du Plessis had made his statement, but he has I've consulted with him, and he's ready to answer those questions too. We can proceed with your permission, my lady.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. du Plessis.
I, the undersigned, Barend du Plessis, do hereby make oath and state that 1. I am an adult male and a pensioner. I am 86 years of age. I retired from the position of Minister of Finance of the Republic of South Africa on the 31st of March 1992. The facts contained in this affidavit fall, unless otherwise indicated, within my personal knowledge and are both true and correct. I was requested to attend the inquest relating to the deaths of Matthew Goniwe, Fort Calata, Sicelo, Mhlauli, and Sparrow, Mkonto, Cradock Four, in the above court, and to testify and disclose all and or any facts falling within my personal knowledge relating to the deaths of the Cradock Four. In order to assist the Honourable Court in the above regard, I instructed my legal team to prepare an affidavit on my behalf, wherein I will deal with the relevant issue and to disclose any involvement that I had or may have had in this regard. At the outset, I wish to emphatically deny that I had any involvement and or knowledge relating to the planning and or execution of the murders of the Cradock Four. In November 1983, I was appointed Minister of Education and Training. I thereby became both Cabinet Minister and member of the State Security Council. Noteworthy figures from the records of the Ministry of Education and Training at that time are as follows. The median age of matriculants then was 19 years and 10 months. The areas outside the erstwhile homelands totaled at least 1.5 million and annually increased very rapidly. Our schools were scattered all over the country, making matters like sound management oversight a formidable challenge. Disciplinary committees and prescribed procedures to ensure dealing fairly and consistently with all kinds of transgressions in schools and the department had already been in operation long before my arrival. Repetitive violations were regarded as aggravating circumstances. Before implementation, the Director General was obliged to discuss more serious transgressions and judgments with his minister as part of the usual ministerial oversight and confirmation regulations. To my best recollection, the disciplinary structure then operated along the following lines. 1. Category 1, serious transgressions forfeiting remuneration for a period. Category 2, more serious transgressions, suspension from service for some time without salary. Category 3, very serious transgressions, removal to another school in the same town or city. Category 4, extremely serious transgressions, removal to another school in another town or city. Category 5, repeated serious transgressions led to dismissal. While dealing with countrywide cases from Category 4, during a disciplinary review meeting that I assume took place in November 1983 between the Director General and me, he submitted for consideration the particulars of a teacher in Cradock whose name had come up for removal to Gqeberha. The teacher had appeared before the relevant disciplinary committee on account of spending excessive school time on political activities elsewhere instead of being in the classroom. He added that it was an unfortunate event for the school because the teacher, Mr. Matthew Goniwe, was a good mathematics educator. However, despite earlier cautionary notices to Mr. Goniwe, he had persisted with his behavior and the situation had reached a stage that had become detrimental to the operations in the rest of the school, making his removal inevitable. I later learned that he had refused the transfer to Gqeberha. I was Minister of Education and Training for only 10 months, from November 1983 to 17 September 1984, when I was appointed Minister of Finance. I have been informed that the murder took place on 27 June 1985, 9 months after I had become Minister of Finance, during which time I believe Mr. Goniwe had been arrested and relocated to various locations several times. It has been brought to my attention that during 1984, there was a decision by the State Security Council that the agitators under which Mr. Goniwe resorted should be removed from the school. This removal would have been in terms of Category 4 of the structure, which operated in the department at that stage. Due to the long time that has passed since then, I cannot, out of my own will, remember the day or specific date, but it has been brought to my attention that the meeting took place on the 19th of March 1984. On 17 September 1984, I was appointed Minister of Finance. The portfolio of Education and Training was then transferred to Mr. Sam de Beer, Deputy Minister to Dr. Gerrit Viljoen, the then Minister of National Education. 27th of June 1985. After Mr. Goniwe had been arrested and relocated to various State Security Council and many other committees, subcommittees and working groups, was I ever involved in or aware of the mere mentioning of the possible killing of any person opposed to the state. I therefore wish to record my strongest possible personal umbrage at even the slightest suggestion that I in any way was involved in any aspect of the murder of the Cradock Four. I repeat my emphatic denial of any involvement and or knowledge of the planning and or execution of the killing of the Cradock Four.
Mr. du Plessis, just for more information for the court, the following: approximately how many learners were in the schools at that time that resorted under you?
Well, lady, there were between 1.5 and 1.6 million learners scattered all over South Africa at that stage.
And when you when you walked into the offices of education and training in 1983, what was your attitude regarding the procedures and documentation that you found there?
Well, lady, I then came face to face with departmental procedures, documentation, and terminology that had been tried and tested in practical use for decades in their specific tasks and environment.
And did you accept the validity?
I did accept the validity and functionality of the existing procedures and carried on as seamlessly as possible.
During our discussions, it also became clear that within a few days of your appointment, you had your first disciplinary review with the DG of the department. Could you enlighten us about that?
Yes, indeed. I had an early baptism, as it were, in a very regular meeting of an oversight meeting between the Director General and myself to review disciplinary hearings and judgments from all over the country.
Mr. du Plessis, could you just tell the court what were the different general offences that you people had to deal with in those days?
Well, lady,
with teachers.
The most general was sexual harassment, fraud, theft, rape, assault, and like in the case of Mr. Goniwe, there was a minimum of politically motivated unrest or damaging of school property.
And why do you remember Mr. Goniwe specifically?
The Director General knew my background, my lady. I was also a mathematics teacher, so I felt for Mr. Goniwe, and I felt for the school that had to forfeit his services in future. And unfortunately, his was the kind of repeated transgression that we couldn't deal with in any other way, and I was sorry to admit that.
Sorry. I noticed from in the 29th of March, November 1983, could you tell us more about that when you had your meeting with the people in the Eastern Cape?
On 29th of November 1983, on page 45 of a document we all received, Mr. Matthew Goniwe was notified by the Department of Education and Training that he had been transferred to Graaff-Reinet. He refused to accept the move, and in line with the Department of Education and Training's regulations, it was accepted that he therefore had dismissed himself. Apparently the same applied to Mr. Ford Calata.
In spite of this, Mr. du Plessis, it appears that he was still in circulation for the department because of these attributes. Is that correct?
Yes, he was under the attention of also the school authorities.
Is it not also so that they tried to convince him to mend his ways and keep on educating?
Yes, they tried to convince him, but that was a difficult negotiation, and they couldn't reach a permanent agreement that he would do away with his political activities in the favor of full-time commitment to his classes.
It also appears that there on the 19th of March was a meeting of the SSC, I think, where it was recommended that they be removed from the school. Is that correct? Could you enlighten us more about that?
Well, lady, this is more than 40 years ago. I sincerely cannot remember exactly what took place at that meeting, but maybe with the wisdom of hindsight or information that I got, it seemed that at that meeting there was a suggestion that the two former teachers, Goniwe and Calata, be removed from the Cradock and employed at another venue or area.
During our discussions, it was discussed that this would have been Graaf Reinet. Could you recall that?
Yes. Yes, Graaf Reinet was also mentioned in November 1983 during my very first disciplinary overview where we discussed inter alia Mr. Matthew Goniwe, that it would be so.
All right. Could you tell us what the powers of the DET was at that stage?
The Department of Education and Training had been a long established and well-functioning under very difficult circumstances department for decades and decades before my arrival in 1983.
Then, Mr. du Plessis, on the 27th of September, it appears to be 1984, you were appointed as Minister of Finance. Is that correct?
That's right.
And remained a member of the SSC.
Yes, I remained a member of the SSC, but without a direct portfolio connection to the scope of operations of the SSC. Most other portfolio ministers that sat there had some connection with the security setup.
And you also, Minister of Finance, did you have any connections regarding that?
I had no connection to security structures.
Yes, Mhlauli. Mhlauli, is it not Mr. Coltman's error?
Be careful, you won't be able to come back to PE, otherwise you have to face Mr. Koppman. Mr. Koppman, rather. Please let's make sure we have all our phones switched off to avoid the distortion.
Fine, Mhlauli.
Thank you. Let the witness
Do you
repeat what he just said.
Repeat the last, Mr. du Plessis.
What was that? Can you remind me, please?
It was without direct portfolio connection.
Oh, yes. Well, lady, I personally faced a rather formidable challenge in my portfolio of finance. That was the year when we had a debt standstill. We had a massive campaign of sanctions against South Africa. So sincerely, I didn't have any shortage of excitement then. And it just so happened that through my itinerary as a cabinet minister, I knew my fellow ministers who were part of the security cluster, but I never had any contact with any of the operatives in the security setup. I only recently learned that throughout this period that I had been associated in a way directly and thereafter indirectly as a member of the SSC, several constructive meetings had taken place between Mr. Goniwe and senior officials of the Department of Education and Training, with a view to finding a way of reappointing him to his former Cradock school, which he apparently was considering very seriously.
Mr. du Plessis, now this information you received from whom? From members of the Department of Education?
Yes, my successor, who held the responsibility, was Mr. Sam de Beer. He was Deputy Minister to Dr. Gerrit Verjoen, who was then Minister of Education. In his statement to this Honourable Court, he made mention of it, and in other matters, the material that came to my attention, I learned that there were very serious discussions, and just before the actual murder took place, apparently that reached a point where it was almost certain, and that involved also two other cabinet ministers. It was almost certain that they would find a way to accommodate Mr. Goniwe at the school, but that unfortunately could not materialize.
Mr. du Plessis, another aspect that Mr. Varney raised, which is vital, is he said he wants to know what your attitude was with regarding to permanent removal from society.
Well, I found that an ordinary word like removal, which still today obtains in radio and television broadcasts, that word removal had been almost hijacked and corrupted into, when you talk about removal, you were immediately asked whether it was a permanent removal or a temporary removal, because it had become a euphemism to get rid of somebody permanently by killing him.
And as Mr. Varney requested us, there is a difference between permanent removal from society and removal from the community.
Absolutely. We would have preferred right from the beginning to remove Mr. Goniwe temporarily to Graafrenet, but permanently removing somebody from society attained the status, if one can call it that, of a word that implied that somebody would be removed from society permanently by killing him.
I see. Have you got anything further to add, Mr. du Plessis, or not?
My lady, all I can say is that it took 19 months for those who had maybe planned the permanent removal of Mr. Goniwe from society. From the day, as a very green minister, it was one of my first cases where I had to approve on the basis of the information submitted to me in formal forms and reports that that he was to be removed to Graafrenet. But it was it is a strange thing that after 19 months, the murder eventually took place. And at that stage, I wasn't even aware of it, and I learned at the next State Security Council meeting of it, and I also picked up some information from the media. And if I personally take a very dim view of any judgment that is passed on me after 19 months that I signed that order, that I still am tainted with having been involved in his permanent removal, which I never was.
Mr. du Plessis, tell me now, in all honesty for yourself, what do you regard this, you can call it nothing else, murder on these 4 people? What do you regard?
My lady, my upbringing and my total orientation to the political career that I chose was one of negotiation and reconciliation. It never figured in my mind that one should physically eliminate one's political opponents or physically eliminate people who were opposed to the state. That is not the way to govern a country. And I have a basic moral and judgmental attitude towards that culture that developed at that stage.
I thank you, my lady. That is all at this stage.
Otherwise, Mr. du Plessis, you still confirm the correctness of the statement that you read into the record earlier?
Yes, I do, my lady.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Holtzman.
Thank you, my lady.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the representatives of the parties will now ask you some questions. If you can please answer those.
I shall do so, my lady.
Yes, my lady, we weren't aware that Mr. Vani had sent questions to be answered by the witness, but we're indebted to him, and so it will, of course, limit the scope of our questions to him. Mr. du Plessis, I just want to start with Mr. James Calvin. Do you remember him?
No. I didn't understand the name properly.
James Calvin.
James Calvin.
Calvin, G-A-L-V-I-N.
No. No, I'm sorry, I can't remember having met a person by that name. Maybe if you can provide me with some example where I audit him, maybe you can refresh my memory, but my 86-year-old memory cannot remember that name at this stage.
No,
I'm sorry.
The only reason I'm mentioning his name is that Mr. Adamu Stemmet mentioned it yesterday. And he said that you had a conversation with him in around about 2020.
Are you talking about Mr. A.P. Stemmet's reference to a person that he put me in a telephone conversation with?
It must be that person, yes.
Yes, I remember the occasion, but unfortunately I cannot remember any detail of our conversation. It must have concerned the whole question of the removal from society of people, and particularly in the case of the Cradock Four. But I can't remember that we reached any kind of a conclusion or an agreement that something had to be done about it and which we could contribute to. I can't remember anything in that regard. I'm sorry.
Maybe if I may point out, the conversation was not between Mr. du Plessis and Mr. Galvin, according to Mr. Stemmet. It was between Mr. du Plessis and Mr. Stemmet, and Mr. Galvin was present.
Yes, I was also looking at the statement I didn't follow him saying, so I was looking at Mr. Galvin's statement.
Yes, thank you then, my lady, for that clarification. My apologies then, Mr. du Plessis.
Can I add that I knew Mr. Stemmet a little from the other occasions. They also lived in Acacia Park. Excuse me, the accommodation provided for parliamentarians, but as I got to know him a little bit, I was very sorry that I didn't have an opportunity to get to know him better, because I think, as far as I could read him, he was a person that made a contribution, and that it would have been interesting for me to learn about his experiences.
Yes. I just wanted to make sure that you ever personally meet with either Mr. Matthew Goniwe or Mr. Ford Calata?
No, I never met with him personally. And if I had stayed on in that portfolio longer, I probably would have met them, because in that short period of time that I was 10 months minister, I got a phone call, for instance, from a Mr. Chabalala from Atteridgeville, asking me to host 18 already expelled senior learners from Atteridgeville at that time of a very great degree of unrest. And just before the Easter weekend, I flew up back to my official residence, and I had to arrange with the police for entrance for Mr. Shabalala and the 18 youths, and I gave them coffee. I had nobody to help me with that, but I gave them coffee, and we started off a conversation that lasted almost 3 hours. It had a rocky start, but we shook hands in the end.
Well, thank you for that. But you would agree with me that that period of, specifically the period when you were minister and a member of the State Security Council, was a volatile period in the country, but even more so in Cradock.
I'm sorry, I missed the gist of the question. Would you kindly repeat it, sir? Because I apologize. I'm very hard of hearing.
I understand. You were a member of the State Security Council, is that correct?
Yes, I was a member.
And you were a member of the State Security Council on 19 March 1984.
Yes.
And in 1985, you were still a member of the State Security Council?
Yes, I was a member of the Security Council from 1983 right through to my retirement from politics in 1992. But I was never a member of any subcommittee of the State Security Council. That or the special task group, I was never associated with the State Security Council in that regard. My presence in the State Security Council was of a different nature. I was very much involved in the overall finance of the council, and I was very much involved with Minister Malan, Minister Pickwater, and the state president with the war in Angola and financial aspects relating to that.
If the court will just bear with me, please. Mr. du Plessis, I just want to go back to this issue surrounding Mr. Calvin. You did mention a telephone conversation that you had with Mr. Stemmet, where Mr. Calvin was also present.
My lady, I can't even remember Mr. Calvin's presence. It happened at a stage when I was very busy with other things, and Appie Stemmet and Mr. Calvin was not very well. In fact, if I think back, I have doubts if I had any personal meeting with him during a stage that he was very ill disposed. So, but anyway, any conversation that I had with them would have been for general information. Neither of them held a position of any influence to my best knowledge, in the state security cluster setup, and I was not at that stage a person of influence, so it was more a social conversation than anything else.
Mhlauli, I don't want to interject with Mr. Koltman, but I think he should, in all fairness, just say to the witness that according to Mr. Stemmet, this conversation had apparently taken place about 6 years ago, if I'm correct. I stand to be correct.
That is correct. And that is what the transcript of the record shows.
All I can add, my lady, which I, with respect, think is an important issue, all I can add is that I learned from Mr. Stemmet that he was very much involved in the negotiations with Mr. Goniwe to reappoint him back into the education department, and excuse me, somewhere in the documentation, I even saw a reference that negotiations centered about the possibility of making him principal. And if I remember Mr. Stemmet correctly, I got the impression, and that is my recollection, it's qualified by my bad memory, and anyway, is this that he was very excited about that possibility, and that he was very disappointed that the four had been murdered at a stage when he thought that there would be progress getting Mr. Goniwe back into the system and use his talents for the education of children.
Yes. Now, I just wanted to confirm, according to the information that we have, Mr. Goniwe was essentially dismissed himself on the 29th of November 1983 Is that correct?
Yes, excuse me. Mr. Goniwe refused to take the transfer to Graaf-Reinet. And if you don't report for service and you get reminded about that and you stay away, then in effect you dismiss yourself. I remember faintly having read something that there were approaches to him to see, or maybe approaches on his behalf, to see if his transfer could not be reversed. But that also did not work.
Yes,
The fact is that despite the fact that he dismissed himself, the Department of Education and Training, senior officials that had contact with him, they sincerely wanted him back in the education brotherhood.
But what I'm trying to get to is, on the 19th of March 1984, he was not a teacher at the school where he had previously taught in Cradock, in Lingalisa.
My lady, I personally had no contact with either Mr. Goniwe or Mr. Calata, nor was I regularly informed about their movements. The department didn't function in that way. And the fact that their names were mentioned on the meeting that the gentleman referred to is something that didn't come from me or the Department of Education and Training, as far as I can remember, but it was on the table, and then the decision was that they should be removed to Graaf-Reinet.
Yes. I just want to take you to your statement, paragraph 6 of your statement and that second paragraph. And I just want you to explain what you meant in that paragraph, where you say, it has been brought to my attention that during 1984, there was a decision by the State Security Council that the agitators under which Mr. Goniwe resorted should be removed from school.
Sorry, were you reading from Mr.
It's paragraph 6 of Mr. Du Plessis' statement.
That part of my
Second
statement
paragraph.
is simply recognizing the terminology of the time. There was a way to describe certain people doing certain things, and Mr. Goniwe was described in the security environment as an agitator, and I used it in my submission that that was the information I got, that he was regarded as an agitator. That is not a term that I wish at this moment in time, or wished then, to impose upon him at all.
But what did you mean by saying the agitators under which Mr. Goniwe resorted? Who did you refer to then? Or who do you refer to?
I was referring to Mr. Goniwe by name, and by implication that also involved Mr. Calata, but I didn't put that in detail in my submission.
Although agitators is in the plural. I don't want to be too finicky about this, or technical, but you say the agitators under which Mr. Goniwe resorted should be removed from the school.
I repeat, my lady, that is not a term that I wish to impress on him. or to taint him with. That is a category of behavior in the whole setup of unrest in South Africa that was used in discussions when security matters were discussed. And that was based on the information that I got, that he was regarded as an agitator. And I'm not saying that I agree with that.
Yes, no,
I'm not saying I agreed with it.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you unnecessarily, and I also don't want to belabor this point. I just wanted to understand who you were referring to when you said the agitators under which Mr. Goniwe resorted.
Yeah, well, you know, at every meeting, you know, if there is a name that not everybody knew, then it would have been quite easy. I'm surmising now completely theoretically, then it would have been quite easy to say, well, he's also one of that guy, Piet Pompies, he's also part of the ads. He finds himself in the cadre of the agitators. And this paragraph is not intended to cast any aspersions in the least on him. It is a matter, it is a way for me to describe what happened at that meeting. I, to the best of my knowledge, and I had no reason to do it, their names were not submitted to that meeting for removal. I don't know where it came from, but because they had then already been they hadn't been teachers any longer. They had dismissed themselves.
Yes, and
so,
my apologies. Did you want to say something else?
Sorry, would you kindly repeat that?
Did it include Mr. Goniwe that he should also be removed from the school?
Well, Mr. Goniwe, we wanted to move him to Graaf Reinet already in November of 1983. We would very much like to have him there, because that would mean we have him back in the system. And if things went well that way, there was no reason why he could not be transferred back to Cradock.
Yes. Let me try and get to the point. You say in the next paragraph, you refer to the date on which this decision had been made, and you say that it had been brought to your attention that the meeting had taken place on the 19th of March 1984. Now my point is just, at that stage, Mr. Goniwe had already been dismissed. Do you understand?
Of course I understand. Mr. Goniwe and Mr. Calata dismissed themselves. That was the viewpoint of the Department of Education and Training. And we wanted to have them back if at all possible.
And then I wanted to also just point out another aspect. Is if we look at that, the minutes of that meeting, that issue had in fact been raised by you.
Where do we find those, Mr. Kaufman?
It's in the L7 documents that will just bear with me. Is it, it would be under the index bundle L7, my lady. That's item number 10, pages 61 to 67. So if I can just, let's just give me that. I'm indebted to my colleague that's helping me here. Mr. Du Plessis, did you get the document that I'm referring to?
Mr. Goldman, we don't have it in front of us. If you don't mind reading it out, we'd be pleased.
Yes. It is the minutes. It is in fact found in the main record as Exhibit J, or Volume J2, page 52 to 58. I just want to, it will be noted that under, just bear with me, under item 5, and next to it, it stands, there's another heading, agenda item 4, onrus in swart skole. Die aangeleentheid word bespreek aan die hand van die voorligting wat generaal Groenewald gelewer het. Kyk item 2 hierbo. Die volgende gedagtes word deur minister Gqeberha du Plessis geopen. And then there are a list of matters A, B, C, D, E. And then if you look at F, the following is stated. In Cradock is daar 2 oud-onderwysers wat as agitators optree. Dit sou goed wees as hulle verwyder kon word. Did you get that, Mr. Du Plessis?
Yes, and with great respect. It all depends on what meanings you ascribe to different terminology that was used. If you have to deal with an unrest situation and you have a few people that are the ringleaders, then your first reaction would be to remove them. If you can take them to jail or you can take them to Robben Island or whatever, then you remove them. And in that way, that may be a step in the direction of getting the unrest resolved. But let me immediately say this, my lady, to the Honourable Court. I, in my life, never interested myself very much as far as the country's safety apparatuses were concerned. I went to Parliament for economic, education and financial contributions. And the fact that I became a member of all the study groups in those categories that I just mentioned, and never, ever in one of the security cluster study groups, gives you an indication that I cannot claim to answer the logic or otherwise of a statement concerning state security. I can't do that. I am not equipped and I am not schooled in that direction. I made my contribution in another way. And when I got my new identity as a Minister of Finance, I made my contribution in the State Security Council in line with the skills that I had, or insights or information that I had. I definitely never, ever purported to be a specialist that can make comments as to how to deal with individual people who find themselves at odds with the security cluster. I held my mouth shut and I had my ears wide open, and if there was anything that I could contribute in terms of fairness or justice, then I would, from Commons' point of view, I would do it. But I would definitely not purport to answer that question of yours in a professional way.
Thank you, Mr. du Plessis. Had you directed a question at Mr. du Plessis regarding that?
Yes,
F?
my lady, the question, I read out
Yes.
what appears under F and which is attributed to this witness.
Yes.
And I want him to confirm that that is indeed what he had said.
Yes. So you do confirm that, Mr. du Plessis, this is what you had stated during the meeting as it appears under F. You do confirm that this is what you said at the meeting. That in Cradock there are two teachers that are agitators, something to that effect, and it would be good if they survey them.
My lady, could I perhaps just translate it? In Cradock, there are two former ex-teachers who act as agitators. It would be good if they could be removed.
The question was whether you confirm that you did indeed convey that at the meeting, Mr. du Plessis.
My lady, I cannot remember a meeting and the minutes of a meeting and the contents of a meeting of more than 40 years ago. And I had no records to refer to, my own records. So what I'm doing is I'm trying my best to make a contribution in terms of what I can remember and what I would have said if certain things had happened. But I couldn't make a contribution as far as dealing with the situation of the people there. If I got a report to submit to the State Security Council indicating that there were X number of people by the following names or whatever that were stoking unrest, then I would submit that. But there is no way that I had any contact. And I could have, if I had the information that the honourable gentleman wants, I would have given it to him. Don't have it. And I can't say any more about the situation than what I've done now.
Thank you very much. Mr. Coltman, maybe we should put the document in context. I don't think these are minutes. I think this is what was put to the witness.
No, these are minutes, my lady. Let me just put that to the witness.
Is that the document appearing at page 59?
Yes, indeed.
LC 32.
Mr. du Plessis, let me just confirm that these are in fact minutes of State Security Council meeting that was held. Perhaps let me just read the Afrikaans heading for you first to help you. At the top is underlined, uiters geheim, top secret. And then the notule nummer SVR 5-84. En dan appears vergadering van die Staatsveiligheidsraad in die kabinetskamer Hendrik Verwoerd gebou Kaapstad op 19 Maart 1984 om 10 uur. And then it's teenwoordig, which is present. And we see President of, at that time, Prime Minister Botha was also present. He was the chairman, but your name then also appears there as being present. And just to complete, my lady, right to the Would you bear with me? Right at the end of that document, you will see the word goedgekeur, in Afrikaans approved. En then there's a secretaris, 21 Maart 1984. So the secretary signed it. The voorzitter 2 April 1984. And then opsteller also signed it. And it ends off again with uiters geheim. So do you understand? It's minutes of that meeting, formal minutes of that meeting of the 19th March 1984.
Mhlauli, my decades of experience with minutes is simply that a simple resolution or an observation or a suggestion or whatever can never reflect the whole background and the context within which it was discussed, and then the report of that of whatever discussion is then condensed into a paragraph. And with all due respect, both of those gentlemen, in the process of having had their disciplinary hearings in the department, were faced with the judgment that they will be removed to another town. That already had happened to them. The fact that they didn't report dismissed them. And I cannot accept, even in retrospect, I cannot accept that it could have been my responsibility to be able to give an expert opinion of exactly what their activities were that led to the minuting of an item saying that they had to be removed.
Lady, may I just interject? I see it's nearly 11 o'clock. I'll try and get the minutes in our office and give that to Mr. du Plessis, so he and Mr. Koltmer are on the same page, my lady, with your permission.
Fair enough. We'll take a chair adjournment. We'll adjourn for 15 minutes. Mr. Du Plessis, you're reminded that you are still under oath.
Thank you, my lady.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Cockman.
Thank you, my lady. Mr. Du Plessis, have you now seen the minutes? Have you now had the opportunity to see the minutes that I'm referring to?
Mr. Kalkman, sorry, we had 9,000 pages. They're looking for it, but Mr. Du Plessis recalls that meeting. That was when it was requested that they be removed. He's ready to speak to you.
Yes. Now, I just wanted to then confirm that is what you had said at that meeting.
So I speak now.
Yes. You may speak, yes?
My lady, regardless of the words that I used, but if I, throughout this whole saga, whenever I talked about removal of people, I want to emphasize, and I've done it before in this presentation, and I want to repeat it with all the power that I have in my framework. I want to say to you that there is no way that whatever terminology I used, that I would suggest that persons be removed to be killed, at best, or at worst, maybe, before that. My suggestion would be that treated like you treated, or that like Winnie Mandela was treated. She was taken away from Soweto, and she was removed to Balfour. And there, why was that? To remove her away from the place where she was involved in unrest, and that is all. And sincerely, I cannot recall that meeting. I don't remember the context, everything. But whatever terminology I used, there is no way that I suggested that they be killed.
Yes,
And that should not be put on me, and I take umbrage to that.
You've made that point repeatedly. Thank you very much.
No further questions, my lady.
Thank you. Ms. Buthelezi.
Good morning, my lady.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Du Plessis.
Good morning.
My lady, I believe that L7 was distributed amongst all the parties last night. And L7 would include these very minutes of 19 March 1984. Now, Mr. Du Plessis makes mention of this meeting, and we had assumed that he would at least have the minutes in front of him. I do intend to take Mr. Du Plessis to these very minutes, so I'm not sure how to proceed if he does not have them in front of him.
Ms. Buthelezi, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I've just asked my secretary to look on the emails whether we received it, because I haven't seen it yet and I could not present them to Mr. Du Plessis. But within a few seconds, we'll be able to have that. If you don't mind going to another aspect at this stage until I get the meetings, but if it was sent to us, we'll have it within a second or two.
Thank you, Mr. De Mayor. Well, most of my questions relate to that, so I will start, and let's see if Mr. Du Plessis can answer. The first question is, Mr. Du Plessis,
recollection of the meeting, or the contents of the meeting. That sometimes happens.
You do not dispute that you attended the SCC meeting for agenda item number 4, do you?
at this point you would need the minutes in front of you, because I want to refer you, in case you say you don't recall, to a particular paragraph in those meetings.
Ms. Buthelezi, sorry. They've just brought things to me now. I'm having a look where it is. Could you refer to me in the to the lot that was emailed to us yesterday?
Okay, we'll take a short adjournment so that you can familiarize yourself with the document. Go to adjourn for a
Thank
short while.
you very much, milady. Let's talk. Please identify the document that just brought it to me now. Yes. I hear you. Have a look, L7. I got a document here that starts off with Secretariat van die Veiligheidsraad, L, yeah, okay, LC32, and then it goes on, Jaap Strydom, and Nasionale Bestuurstelsel, and all that. Is that what Ms. Buthelezi is after? It's 61. Yeah. Yes, I know I've got page 1. Please just see on page 1. It says uiters geheim LC32. It goes up to 93, no, 83, I see. And 93. 98, 95, 97. Okay, I've got this. So, Mr. Governor, am I speaking to you? 1 to 84. Have a look on here. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so. And then tell me, Mr. Governor, what's the last page you say on 84? What's the last thing? Is it elders en kortliks as volg opgesom? Mr. Governor? Yeah, but what's... Well, I've got handwritten things here with an ugly handwriting. Yes, it's David. I haven't got that, man. Dat is die aanstelling van Mr. M. Goniwe skoolhoof by die Samkali Hoërskool te Cradock. Is that starts with it, the page? Uiters geheim. LC32, is it reg? Ja. And the date? And the date? I've got 13 June here now. You've got me on the wrong thing here. Yes. Uiters geheim. I've got so many uiters geheim. I got the email now, but it's have a look at the email, Nancy. When was this sent? When was this sent? Yeah, no, one this morning, you say. No, I haven't got that. Have a look at that now. All right, well, I'm having my secretary look at that because we haven't received, I haven't seen that yet. I got things you sent yesterday afternoon. But if you give us 5 minutes, you'll get it. It doesn't matter by who, as long as we can get it, and my secretary is busy looking it up on our email now. We're just busy trying to change the contents of the email. Wag man, ons is besig met die ding. You send these things while we're busy with the investigation. That's very nice. Hulle soek moeilikheid, né? Ek wil sê, Janie, hulle bekke is groot daar as ek nie daar is nie. Got it. It's coming.
Bladzijde 300.
Ja, ek weet, ons moet nou die ding moet stuur het. Are these all documents I sent today?
No, what's the other side? That's not yesterday.
This is the dates right for all these things. What's happening there? It's going in. People are getting uncomfortable with you being slow. Bill Gates.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't gone.
He's going to jail. Maybe the computer will work together. And see, the other thing is this. When we finished with this, we're going to switch. You use this computer, and that slow one you give to my office in my room. The one takes a week.
You know, the problem is everything that's on here, I need to get on there.
Well, transfer it on. Or is it impossible?
No, it's just going to take forever.
Okay.
So what is that for?
Technologie, weet jy. Ek moet nou wag dat daai ding deurkom.
Emails are loading.
Are they loading? Thank God.
Hoeveel gaan nog vrae?
Meneer Barney gaan ook nog vrae.
Is the putting mic off?
It doesn't matter, we're not discussing anything serious, we're just waiting for the emails.
I can't even looking for something. So she's already giving me.
Yeah, we're busy having it. It's you and Bill Gates is slow with the transfer, but it's ready. She's going to have it printed within the next minute. I'll tell you. Who's the originator of this document to be emailed to us? Who's no, not Mr. Kleinschmidt. Who instructed him to email this for us for today's hearing? And that's why they said it while he's giving evidence. Ja, dis reg, baie mooi. I think it's Governor. Governor is the man who fabricated that thing. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's the truth. I'm like Eugene de Kock. Dat die waarheid uitkom.
In the document.
Is it lunch? Let's have a look what it is. These people are waiting.
Laat hulle anders taal vra.
What's happening?
Let's get a code quickly. Yeah, okay.
Ons moet jou vergeet dat jy daar bekyk daarna. Sodra ons hom het eendag.
Okay, it's 84 pages.
Okay, just give it. Print it and give it from the beginning. Je kop mag bladsy, hulle print dit, druk dit net vir ons uit, hoor. Bring them as they come out.
Staat in baie tyd in die stad. Baie geld.
Just 3 pages long.
Yeah, this is nothing. What else then? Centrum van het gebouw. Waar die knelpunten is. Volgende wordt die gedachtes, dus wat hij zegt. Is die gedachtes. Niet dat quickly. Amper klaar, Jannie, hulle druk het nog uit, hoor. Go in and see. Nance, come here, please. Mike. Hallo Jannie. Ek het die goed vir meneer Du Plessis gegee. Hy lees daardeur. Julle kan hom maar vra. Hy kyk na wat daar gesê is, dis nie uitsonderlik nie. Ja, roep die regter en vra vir Boetie Lesie, wat wil sy nog vra dat ek dit reg kry vir hom te gee, want ons het dit nou eers gekry. Vra nee man, wat wil ek sê, my leuns is reg. Ja, ek het niks om te sê nie. Net sê wat hier aangaan, ons die res is oor Angola en Soweto en daai plekke. Laat sê ons maar vra, ons sal dit hanteer. As daar 'n probleem is, Jan, sal ek vra dat ons afstaan, maar ek wil nie nog verder tyd nie. Dankie Jannie. Vergadering. 19 March.
About yesterday's proceedings, and an English translation thereof, which we submit as highly inaccurate regarding yesterday's proceedings, as it is defamatory. Not only does it attribute statements to my learned friend, Mr. Varney, which he did not make, but it also contains, according to the report, a statement by Mr. Calata, in which he inter alia says, regarding Mr. Stemmet, he was the head of strategic communication of the State Security Council, and they were known as professional liars. It is clear that he was doing what he previously propagated, and that is to lie. But we are not affected thereby. We hope the court takes that into consideration. If I may make an early submission, and I will make more when we have submitted this to your ladyship, that is an instance of breaking the sub judice rule, which, as your ladyship knows, is an expression of contempt of court. I record it now. I will elaborate upon that later once your ladyship has had occasion to read the report. Thank you, my lady.
Yes, thank you, my lady.
As a court pleases, my lady, if they could just warn Mr. du Plessis that he's still under oath. We've received the documents. The paper is still hot. So he's prepared to carry on. Thank you, my lady.
Thank you very much. Yes, Ms. Mhlauli.
Thank you, my lady. Mr. du Plessis, you do not dispute that you attended the State Security Council meeting for agenda item number 4, do you?
Agenda item number 4.
See, I didn't hear your answer. Did you answer?
Which sub-item is that, please? My lady can...
If you go to item number 1, the last sentence on
what
item...
page is it on?
Pardon?
What page is it on?
The minute is from page 1 to 7. Item agenda number 4 is on page 2 of the L7 bundle.
On page 2, item 4.
Agenda item 4.
Right, agenda item 4, yes. Oh, onrus in swart skole.
So it reads
Yes,
item 5, then says agenda item 4.
Yes, that's it.
All right.
Page 2 and page 3. Yes, thank you. We've got that. Thank you, my lady.
The question is, you do not dispute that you attended the State Security Council meeting for agenda item number 4. Do you?
No, I don't dispute that, my lady.
Thank you. According to the 19 March minute, agenda item number 4 was discussed under item number 5 with the title Unrest in Black Schools. Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. The 1984 minute does not mention Grafrinet under item 5, does it?
Oh.
Did you get the question?
Please repeat the question.
The question is...
Please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. The minute does not mention Grafrinet under item number 5, does it?
Is that still on page 2?
Item number 5 is discussed further in the minute under the title or heading item 5.
Yes, it says agenda item 4, after item 5, onrus in swart skole. And is your question that it isn't mentioned, Grafrinet is not mentioned? Is that your question?
Under item 5.
Okay, now we know where we are. Yes, Mr. Plessis, fine.
Has the witness answered?
No, he hasn't answered yet. He's looking at the page.
Okay.
I cannot find, my lady, I cannot find the name Graaf Renet on page 3 with subsections A, small a to M. That whole page, having scanned it, I couldn't find the words Graaf Renet.
Thank you. The minute does not record category 4 under item 5, does it?
Buthelezi, I don't even know where you are now. Could you give us the page number and a more direct reference, please?
Mr. De Mayor, item 5 is discussed from pages 2 all the way down to page 4. The next item would be item 6. So in this minute, Mr. Du Plessis is recorded as having raised concerns under the item unrest in black schools, and that
Yes,
entire
and it was,
item 5. Okay.
yes, are we referring to on page 3, A, B, C, D, E, F, G to M?
I am referring all the way down to F. F1, all the way down to F, I think it's 4. The entire item 5, that was attributed to Mr. Du Plessis, which he confirmed he attended the meeting specifically to discuss
Yes,
unrest.
yes, we have. Yes, specifically, and that is page 2 to page 3 to the bottom of page 3, and it is item 5. It is mentioned agenda item 4, and it starts there on page 2, and then it goes to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Is that correct? Are we there?
That's correct.
Yes, the question is whether there's any reference to category 4 in that item.
Is there any reference to category 4 under item 5?
I think the witness said he does not, he's looked, scanned it, and he doesn't find it. It's not there.
Yeah.
All right.
My lady, can the honourable person just repeat for me what exactly are you after? What is the word that you want me to find?
I want you to find the word category 4.
Category.
Category 4. Is the phrase category 4 recorded under item 5 of the 19 March 1984 minute?
I can't find, scanning it quickly, I can't find a category 4, like the words category 4.
Thank you.
It's in Afrikaans.
Pardon?
Now, it's difficult if you say category 4 and you refer to things. This is written in Afrikaans. So if you want to refer to a specific portion, mention the Afrikaans word so we can identify it. Thank you.
Mr. De Mayor, Mr. Du Plessis, your statement is written in English, and you make reference to category 4. Is the Afrikaans equivalent of category 4 present in the 1984 minute under item 5?
Ms. Buthelezi, do I understand you correctly? The statement makes reference to the categories of offences that people commit in the schools, and you want to know if that category is mentioned in this thing, item 5, agenda item 4, from A to M. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes, and it's easy.
Can I respond to that, my lady?
Please.
Yes, please. A response is required.
Okay. My lady, as I clearly said in my presentation, I referred to the system of disciplinary hearings and judgment, which worked more or less along the following lines. And in order to make it easy, to make references easy, I gave it my names, category 1 to 5. Now, I never suggested that that was the formal nomenclature that the department was using. I am quoting from my memory. What I remember, I don't have documentation of the department of more than 40 years ago, so I had to use my memory to remember what are the categories of transgressions, of the categories of transgressions to distinguish between the various methods of judgment. And at no time did I suggest that that was a formal structure lifted from the documentation of the department. It is my representation in terms of my memory.
Thank you.
Is that clear?
We got that, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Du Plessis, my question was not whether this was the formal means of using the words. My question is that reference present in the meeting under item 5? It's a yes or no question. That's all I'm looking for, yes or no?
The answer is no.
Thank you.
It can't be. It can't be because that meeting took place more than 40 years ago, and my representation of understanding is 1 week old. So it's impossible.
I rise as someone who has an interest in the speedy resolution of this matter. We can all see that the word does not appear there. This is a matter for argument, not for cross-examination.
Thank you.
I agree with you.
Mr. Du Plessis, the minute does not record you speaking of removal to another school or town, does it?
Can you kindly repeat the question, please?
The minute does not record you speaking of removal to another school or town, does it?
No, I don't understand your question.
The question is, under item 5, the very item we've been looking at,
Yes.
do you find reference of you speaking of removal to another school or town? Not just removal, specifically to another school or town. Can you find that under item 5 of the minute?
Oh, no, I can't find it, and I don't expect to find it because I know how cabinet meetings and state security meeting minutes are compiled with the fewest possible words. And this is my report of that time at that meeting. And to have your report properly considered by the State Security Council, you also have to be very economical in the words that you use. So, in other words, when I, in subparagraph F, if I refer there to, in Cradock, there are two former teachers who act as agitators, and it would be good if they can be removed. I am not defining what I exactly mean by removed, but I said earlier, and I've said it since I started my presentation, when I personally, Barend du Plessis, if I refer to the word remove, I definitely do not mean that the person should be killed, and you can accept that as my dictum.
I'm sorry, Mr. Du Plessis, you don't have to repeat that, please. You've already made that point. Please try and answer as briefly as possible whilst saying everything you want to say, but please do so as briefly as possible.
I will encourage the...
Without repeating yourself.
I'll do so, my lady, but as Mr. Yunus said previously, questions are asked which are patently clear. It's for argument, not for questions. The word does not exist there, and she can argue that point later. I say that with the greatest of respect.
My lady, the witness... I will carry on.
Please do.
Mr. du Plessis, your evidence is that you recall that Matthew Goniwe's name came up for removal to Grafrenet in November 1983. However, when you deal with the State Security Council meeting, your language changes. Now the question is, you do not claim to recall the 19 March 1984 SC meeting, do you?
No, if you can quote me what you're referring to, then I can try. But the way you frame your question, I must say no. I can't recall the minutes in the detail that you obviously want me to remember it.
Thank you. In fact, you tell us in your statement that this meeting was brought to your attention, and that it was also brought to your attention that a decision was taken by the SSC in 1984. Now, you ask this court to accept your present explanation of the 19 March 1984 minute, but you do not claim actual memory of what you said in that meeting, do you?
No.
Thank you. Your statement does not say that you remember referring to Grafrenet at the 19 March 1984 meeting, does it?
No.
Thank you. Mr. du Plessis, I put it to you that your explanation of the 19 March 1984 minute is not a recollection. Do you have any comment?
If that is your opinion, I respect your opinion, but I don't agree with you.
Thank you. I also put it to you that your explanation of 19 March 1984 minute is a reconstruction you advance for the purposes of this inquest. Do you have any comment?
If you want to suggest that I'm doing some underhand things, you're free to do it. I, with absolute integrity, responded to the requests of this inquest, and I'm doing my very best to be truthful and to give the information as I promised under oath to do.
Thank you.
If that doesn't meet your requirements, it's your problem.
No further questions, my lady.
Thank you. Mr. Vani?
As my lady pleases. Mr. du Plessis, firstly, thank you for making the time to be with us today and to cooperate with this court.
Thank you.
My learned friend for the state, Mr. Coltman, has already put to you the Galvin statement of 2020, so I'm not going to canvass that with you. But just to be fair to you, I want to bring to your attention what we submitted to this court yesterday in respect of that statement. We submitted that there was no support for the claims made in Mr. Galvin's statement, and that there was no evidence in the documents to support the claims of Mr. Galvin, and we concluded to this court that the claims of Mr. Galvin were a fabrication. I just wish to bring that to your attention.
My lady, I have never in my life seen a report from Mr. Galvin.
Let's move on. I just want to clear up something that you also said in response to Mr. Coltman. in relation to Mr. Goniwe and Mr. Calata, you mentioned that they had dismissed themselves. Just turning to Mr. Fort Calata, we've looked up in the records as to when he was dismissed, and that appears to be in August of 1984. My lady, the reference is volume H, page 757. Now, we also wish to point out to you, Mr. du Plessis, that Mr. Fort Calata was in detention from March to October of 1984. So would you agree with me that he couldn't have dismissed himself?
The term dismiss yourself, as I understood it at the time when we dealt with Calata and that they had been transferred to, then they automatically, in terms of the regulations that are not within my power to change, then they dismiss themselves. Dismissal is not a thing that a Director General or a minister exercises or handles with a staff member.
All right, let's move on, and just to deal with Mr. Goniwe, according to the same records, my lady, also volume H, page 757. Mr. Goniwe refused transfer to Graafrenet in November of 1983, and he was dismissed in January of 1984. Do you accept that?
I wasn't informed of any dates subsequent to our meeting, but I was just informed that he didn't pitch up, he didn't arrive there, which was, and the implication of that was, the result was that he dismissed himself.
Right. Now, just to save time, Mr. du Plessis, and to be upfront with you, we are not accusing you of seeking the murders of the Cradock Four. I want to make that clear to you.
Thank you.
But we are submitting that the signal sent from the Eastern Province Command Joint Management Centre on the 7th of June 1985, seeking the permanent removal from society of the persons in question, that was a proposal to murder the four. You understand that?
Are you
Just repeat that for us, please.
It looks like they're frozen, my lady.
My lady said those words implied that what I really mean for them to be permanently removed is that gesture. Please help me to understand for me.
Did you get that, Mr. Bana?
No, I didn't get that.
Would you mind repeating that, please?
Would you like me to repeat what I said?
Please, if you may.
My lady, I asked Mr. Varney if his question is, or suggestion is that the way that I, or the way that maybe it is reflected in the minutes, that those two the teachers that are acting as agitators, maybe it will be better for them to be removed. Is the suggestion that I framed and and used terminology that suggested that I actually meant that they should be permanently removed from society? Because if that is the impression, then I strongly deny it.
No, that's not what I said, Mr. du Plessis. I started off by saying that we do not accuse you in that particular minute of seeking the murders of the Cradock Four. But we will be submitting to this court that the signal sent on the 7th of June 1985, so more than a year later, proposing the permanent removal from society of Mr. Goniwe, the two Goniwes and Mr. Calata, that in fact was a proposal to kill them.
I don't know, Mhlauli, I can't answer that because I don't know. By that time, I had been appointed Minister of Finance already.
Thank you. We will return to that shortly. Now, the meeting you had on the 19th of June, and we've been through that particular sentence. I'm not going to take you through it again, but I understand that you've agreed already in your evidence that you were not talking about the removal of the teachers from school, but some other form of removal. Is that correct?
I said I agreed with the option that was customary in the department dealing with the severity of the accusations against Mr. Goniwe. I agreed that the judgment to remove him to a school in another town was appropriate penalty for that. I hope I'm answering your question, Mr. Varney.
Yes, well, I just want to point out to you that long before the 19 March meeting, Mr. Goniwe had already refused the transfer to Profranet. That was in November 83, and he had already been dismissed as a teacher in January 84. So in relation to Mr. Goniwe, at least, the removal sought was not from school, but perhaps a removal somewhere else.
It's possible. Well, because a little bit later, there were efforts, particularly by Mr. Jaap Strydom, a very senior staff member of the department, and initiatives from him to get Mr. Goniwe to negotiate with him a return to education, to teaching, and I remember seeing elsewhere they even were considering to appoint him principal of the school from which he was removed.
Yes, thanks for that, and we are aware of those developments. Now, that meeting on the 19th of March, within 3 days of that meeting, on the 21st of March 1984, a security branch team led by one Jaap van Jaarsveld was sent to Cradock to advise on the most appropriate way of eliminating Mr. Goniwe and Mr. Calata. And I'm just going to read to you extracts from the Cradock Four amnesty decision. It's in the bundle that is with Mr. De Meyer at page 26. It's item 5, page 26. I'm only going to read very short passages. So on page 26, the passage I'm going to read is the following. This is the decision of those behind the Cradock Four murders. The idea of killing Goniwe, it transpired, was first mooted about a year before his actual murder. Jacobus Jan Hendrik van Jaarsveld was attached to the intelligence unit at the security branch of the South African Police at head office in Pretoria during 1984. And then the second passage I'm going to read to you is from the amnesty decision in relation to Mr. van Jaarsveld himself. And that decision is also in the same bundle at page 75. And I'm only going to read a short passage. The relevant circumstances were that the applicant was approached during 1984 by his superior, Major Craig Williamson, in order to investigate the possibility to eliminate Mr. Matthew Goniwe in Cradock. I'm going to skip some. In execution of this order, applicant proceeded to the Eastern Cape and eventually visited Cradock on 21st March 1984. I'm going to skip some lines. Applicant's recommendation was that Mr. Goniwe could not be eliminated at his home due to the fact that there were too many people present in the immediate vicinity. He recommended that Mr. Goniwe should be followed and should be eliminated along the road or at some other place other than his home. Now, we know that on the 27th of June 1985, so more than a year later, that is, in fact, what happened. They were abducted on the road and they were not murdered in their homes. So, would you agree with me, Mr. du Plessis, that the request made on the 19th of March began to precipitate a chain of events?
My lady, if I really had that degree of power as Minister of Education and Training, I would have used my power for much better purposes than triggering off a chain of events. Let me put it on record irrevocably. I have no idea whatsoever of any of the information that you divulge now. In my political career and as a member of the State Security Council, I never, ever received any top secret information about covert operations. For instance, where to go and kill a person and so on. There's no way that I ever in my life became privy or became part of that. It was never shown to me. I didn't receive correspondence. It was never conveyed to me. I was not in that circle of persons that had to be informed about such actions. I was a member of the State Security Council, but I was not a member of maybe a subcommittee or a steering committee or whatever that dealt with that kind of information. So, with great respect, I have to say no. I have never heard anything of what you said to me there, not while I was a Minister of Education and Training, not while I was in Cabinet, not while I was in Parliament until '92, never anything about that kind of operation.
Thank you, Mr. du Plessis. You have made yourself clear. If you look at the list of attendees at that 19 March meeting, it includes General P.J. Coetzee, then Commissioner of Police, as well as Minister Louis Lagrange, then Minister of Law and Order. In your view, is it possible, because they attended that meeting, they would have been party to that discussion, that they would have passed on that request to the security branch?
Well, my lady, if they used the terminologies as I intended them to read it, then nothing would have happened detrimentally to the two gentlemen. But if along the way the terminology was hijacked and corrupted by people who had other purposes for dealing with opponents of the state, then I cannot take any responsibility for that, and I wash my hands of it and I walk away from it, because I detest that kind of manipulation of an innocent statement and what is purported to be the downstream effect of it, resulting in certain people being murdered. There is no way that I can associate myself with the corruption along the way of such an item on the agenda, in the minutes.
Noted, Mr. du Plessis. In your evidence, if I recall correctly, when you spoke about removal, you mentioned that the possibility could include detention in terms of security legislation. Now, in fact, some 10 days after the 19 March meeting, on the 30th of March, Matthew Goniwe, Mhlauli Goniwe, and Fort Calata were detained under Section 28 of the Internal Security Act and held for 8 months at Johannesburg's Diep Kloof prison. Were you aware of that?
I was not aware of what happened at that time. I don't think you were present earlier, Mr. Vani, when I said I was not a member of the State Security Council because I am in the least trained in security matters. I was there for another purpose, and if that kind of arrangements happened, I really didn't know about it, and I heard about it. Well, most of the things that happened, I only heard as a result of the establishment of this inquest.
But would you accept, given that you appear to anticipate that a removal from the community could include a detention in another city or town, as happened here? They were detained in Johannesburg for 8 months. That achieved the purpose of the request for their removal.
My lady, if that was one of the options to deal with the situation, then I was certainly not the Einstein who discovered that or prompted them through what I ever said or what was written about the discussion. The police know that, of course, and they've known it for so long. And I used the example earlier that when I referred to removing to another town, it's very much like the Winnie Wandela case to the Free State, and nothing else.
Right. It was your evidence earlier, because I made a note of it, that removal could possibly include a detention in another town, but I'm not going to belabor the point. Let's now return to the question of the 7 June 1985 signal. And just to remind you, that's the signal in which the head of the Joint Management Committee in the Eastern Province, Brigadier Joffel van der Westhuizen, sent to the Secretariat of the State Security Council recommending the urgent permanent removal from society. Now, do you accept that there is a difference between a removal from the community and a permanent removal from society?
Absolutely. There is such a great difference that the one means life and the other one means death. That is the difference that I attach to the interpretation of those two terms. But I can assure you that when I joined the Department of Education and Training in 1983, what I encountered there in terms of using the term which had been done in that department for decades before, if I used the term removal, it was definitely the benign one, and not the one fraught with murder.
Now, just dealing with the removal from the community, Mhlauli, I'd like to refer the witness to a document that we put up yesterday in bundle L6. This is the memorandum prepared by the South African Police dated 25 June 1985. Mr. De Meyer, do you perchance have yesterday's bundle?
I'll just have a look. Thanks, Mr. Varney. They brought me a lot of things, yeah. Nancy, that they sent yesterday. Was it sent by you, Mr. Varney?
What page would that be of L6?
So it's bundle L6. The beginning of the document is on page 412 of that bundle. I'm going to be referring to paragraphs 35 and 36. So that's on page 431. And then we do have an English translation on page 453.
Bundle she's given me now goes to 36 to 44. And when was this emailed, Mr. Varney?
Well, we used it for Mr. Stemmett's cross-examination yesterday, but perhaps I don't wish to waste too much time. Perhaps I can just read the paragraph from this particular document, because in fact it reinforces what Mr. du Plessis has just said. And in the relevant section, the police are summarizing the previous steps that had been taken against Mr. Goniwe and the others. So paragraph 36, all things considered, therefore, it is recommended that the below-mentioned people who can be pinpointed as leading figures in accordance with Article 28(1) of the Internal Security Act are removed from the community and to be restricted to the Johannesburg prison. And then the relevant people are then mentioned below. They were detained on the 30th of March. But I just wish to highlight that the police used the words removed from the community, and they had in mind a detention in another town. If he has a comment on that, he can, otherwise we can move on.
My lady, all I can say is that information has never been divulged in any forum where I found myself during my political career. and clusters activities were not shared with souls like myself, who were probably regarded as completely insufficiently informed about security matters. We definitely did not know about the shunting around them, the two persons, and we didn't know about that. Excuse for that.
We're not suggesting that you were privy to that information. Mr. du Plessis, can you hear us?
Bonnie, will you kindly repeat so that I can hear what you want, please?
Yes, I'm sorry that there was an interruption. I was just saying that we were not suggesting that you were privy to that information. But if you can,
I'm happy to hear that, but I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
We can't hear you, Mr. Varney.
Okay, you were just frozen on the screen, so I wasn't sure whether the audio was coming through. All I was saying, Mr. du Plessis, is that we were not suggesting that you were privy to that information, but we can move on.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that, and I appreciate it very much.
I want to take you to the amnesty application of Colonel Snyman. Lady, this is in the current bundle, L7, it's item 14. It's the amnesty application of Colonel Harold Snyman, who at the time was the head of the security branch in Port Elizabeth. I want to quote a passage that cuts across pages 81 and 82 of the bundle. It's in Afrikaans. We do have an Afrikaans, at least an English translation, and I will put certain of the passages to Mr. du Plessis in English for his response. So, Mr. Snyman says in his amnesty application, all normal processes that identified activists were unsuccessful. I received orders to attend a security information meeting on 14 February 1985 in Cradock. The meeting would, as far as my recollection goes, deal with the activities of Matthew Goniwe and Cradock. Cradock was a local organization in Cradock, as well as other prominent activists in the Eastern Cape, including the activities of these four identified activists. I'm going to skip a line. The spiral of violence, riots, and even anarchy was, according to our information, directly due to the activities and incitement of these four activists. It was, in my opinion, clear that law and order would never be able to be restored in the Black Townships unless it was also not dealt with these four activists. Persons present at this meeting were, amongst others, the Minister of Police, Mr. L. Lachranji, the Minister of Cooperation and Development, Mr. Barend du Plessis, Deputy Minister Dr. Morrison, the Commissioner of the South African Police, General Johan Coetzee, the Divisional Commissioner of the Eastern Cape Police, Brigadier C.A. Swart, and various other persons from the Cradock community who were involved in the JSM system. And then skipping one paragraph. It was clear at these meetings that it was expected of the security branch in the Eastern Cape to fight fire with fire and to bring the situation under control urgently by means of drastic steps and in that way restore law and order. Mr. du Plessis, what is your response to this statement by the late Harold Snyman of this meeting in February 1985 in Cradock, which he alleges that you were present at?
My lady, I cannot recall having been invited or having attended a meeting like that with such drastic dialogue. I'm sorry, I can't recall that at all.
Okay. I want to then move to another State Security Council meeting. This took place on the 10th of June 1985. In other words, only 3 days after the permanent removal signal had been sent on the 7th of June. And the particular meeting minutes of this 10th June 85 meeting is in the volume that Mr. De Meyer has. It's on page 13, it's item 3. I'll wait for Mr. De Meyer to get to the section in question.
Is that the one where they say Mr. Varney is a person of interest?
Come again, Mr. De Meyer?
So is that where they say Mr. Varney is a person of interest?
Yes, exactly that one. If you can explain, please.
Okay, item 3, agenda, item 3, sake voorspruitende uit die notule.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Varney.
And we're going to deal with item 1, inligting, voorligting, gesprek met GBS voorsitters.
You've got it.
Okay. I'm going to attempt an English translation for the benefit of the court and the wider public. Please correct me if I get it wrong. At a high level, and I should say, Mr. Du Plessis, that you were present at this meeting. If you look at the list of attendees, your name appears. So at this meeting, Deputy Law and Order Minister Vlok said he would arrange for the JMCs to be given the necessary orders or delegations to act on their own initiative. So Mr. Vlok reports to that meeting that he had spoken to the JMC chairpersons, and they had problems with, and I quote, departmental representatives not having the necessary mandates or delegations to act on their own initiative. He advised that the Secretariat had now, and I quote, arranged that if such action is urgently necessary, the GBS chairpersons will present their plans directly to the departments concerned at a meeting in which Deputy Minister Vlok will also be present, and where departments will then discuss the best course of action. Now, my question to you is, what did you understand by Deputy Minister Adrian Vlok attempting to address the problem of the JMCs not being able to act on their own initiative?
I cannot recall that meeting, but if I read this correctly, this minute was written so neutral that this might as well have referred also to my department of finance not being equipped to act on their own. I don't really understand what is his implication. Does he intend this to be a general thing, that departments be granted this kind of freedom of action basis, or is he referring to only extremely urgent cases that should be cleared higher up? I'm sorry, I don't recall this thing, and I can't associate myself with that.
Well, I'm going to try and assist you, and it's
Yes.
it's not that general, because it's made clear that it's only in respect of the GBS voorsitters, in other words, the JMC chairpersons or chairman, Joint Management Committee chairman, and why we think it's significant is that Brigadier Joffel van der Westhuizen was the chairman of the JMC in the Eastern Province, and only 3 days earlier he had sent a signal, he authorized the sending of a signal on the 7th of June to the Secretariat of the State Security Council proposing the urgent permanent removal from society of the persons in question. So that's the relevance. And I should add, approximately 10 days later, the murders took place on the 27th of June, 1985.
My lady, I'm at a complete loss to respond to this, because I really understood very little and preferred to understand very little about the GBS, the gesamentlike bestuurstelsel. I know that my department had representatives on such a committee or two, but I'm sorry to say, I never interested myself in that at all. I can't respond, and I apologize.
Noted, and thanks, Mr. du Plessis. We will be submitting to this honourable court that Mr. Vlok was arranging for the JMCs to act on their own initiative in order to conduct operations such as the one we saw taken against the Cradock Four. And we will submit further that this was done in order to ensure that there was plausible deniability by those above the JMCs.
I'm sorry, I can't tell.
Yes. All right. Let's move on. At paragraph 8 of your statement, you say that never in my entire span of 18 years parliamentary service, and having been a cabinet minister, a member of the State Security Council, and many other committees, subcommittees, and working groups, was I ever involved in or aware of the mere mentioning of the possible killing of any person opposed to the state. Did you perchance ever sit on any special cabinet committee that approved security operations to ensure that the security forces operated within the parameters of government policy?
No, not to my memory. I was involved as far as committees were concerned. I was chairman of the Cabinet Committee on Finance and Economic Affairs, which also required the presence of Directors General and so on. But small action committees, actiekomitees, as it is called in Afrikaans. I'm sorry, I can't recall that I was part of such. Maybe because I can't remember the existence of such a committee, such a subcommittee. If on occasion there was an ad hoc committee comprising those portfolios that you referred to, maybe I was at a meeting or two of an ad hoc committee that was supposed to meet for on one or two occasions and formulate a response to a specific question from the stake president. That might have happened, but I was never part of a standing committee, subcommittee to the State Security Council or the Cabinet tasked with an ongoing specific mandate.
And on any of those ad hoc committees, did you ever have occasion to approve the conduct of any security operation?
I was never, my lady, I was never, I don't know if I wasn't trusted, but I was never involved into small security discussions or small security ad hoc committees or whatever. I was never associated with the security apparatus. I was not a member of their study groups. I was involved with my finance and education, and that was it.
And while you sat on the State Security Council or any of the subcommittees or working groups, was a list of politically sensitive persons ever considered?
I can't remember, my lady, having seen such a list, but it's quite possible that on occasion that list was compiled and submitted for insight at a cabinet meeting or so, or a State Security Council meeting, but I can't remember that that was a high-profile thing in the least.
No further questions, Mhlauli.
Mr. Hughes, any questions?
Yes, I have one or two, my lady. I will be brief. I've just been detained by my learned friend next to me, my lady. Mr. Du Plessis, is it correct that the minutes of the State Security Council would reflect the names of the persons who attended that meeting in the sequence of seniority?
Excuse me, can you kindly repeat that, sir? I beg your pardon, I was taking a sip of water and that apparently blocked my ears. I couldn't hear you properly.
You referred to the minutes of the State Security Council of the 19th of March, and is it correct that routinely those minutes would reflect the names of the attendees in the sequence of seniority?
That is a good question. Mr. The Mayor will just show it to me. Yes, that is definitely in order of seniority.
Now, allow me to refer you to a few of the big shots there.
I see that one of them is you, Mr. Hughes.
My age reflects that, my lady. Typically, the Prime Minister, as it then was, subsequently the President, would be the first on the list, and then Dr. Koornoff and Mr. Skuman and OPF Horwood and J.C. Yennis and Pik Botha, and you were also at that meeting. Did you know these? Did you get to know these senior ministers?
I never, in my 18 years in Parliament, really developed a close personal friendship with any of my colleagues. I didn't consider that a proper thing to do, because there are always divisions taking place in politics about certain issues or about certain laws and actions and bills, and I was friendly with them, obviously, and I met them on social occasions, but Pik Botha is the only one that I developed a very close friendship with, but after both of us had left politics. When I was a junior member of Parliament, the senior appointed the newcomers with their wives for lunches or specifically dinners at their homes, especially during the session period, the first half of the year in Cape Town. But I was never a close friend, a confidant of any of my colleagues.
I seem to recall that somewhere Mr. Pukboota referred to you as a confidant, but that's, let me ask you about Pukboota, the one that you knew best. Would it be correct to say that you knew Pukboota well?
Mr. Eunice. Lady is freezing, we can't hear Mr. Eunice.
Would it be correct, Mr. du Plessis, to say that you knew Minister Pukboota well?
Did you get the question? Looks like there's been a break.
Milady, Mr. Eunice froze. We didn't hear the question.
Let's repeat that once again.
My lady, I can repeat the question. Would it be correct, Mr. du Plessis, to say that you know or that you knew Mr. Pukboota well?
Yes, I knew him reasonably well, but as I will say it in Afrikaans, ons was nie huiskuier vriende nie. Except on very rare occasions of a special event or so. But it wasn't a matter of dropping in on a Sunday afternoon like a normal society. We didn't live that way. We would meet after a cricket game or a phonewood or a braai or some function or a concert or something. Then afterwards there would be some interaction. But I can say this, of all the ministers there on this list that I had sight of here, Pukboota is certainly the person that I was closest to.
Given your knowledge of Pukboota, Mr. du Plessis, would you say that he would ever have agreed to the murder of civilians by members of the South African police?
Just repeat your question, please.
Given your knowledge of Mr. Pukboota, would he ever have agreed, in your opinion, to the murder by the South African police of South African citizens?
I don't think Pukboota would have entertained that idea. Definitely, in all the years that I've been a supporter of him and later a friend of him, that I never got that impression that he would entertain that idea to happen.
Thank you, my lady. I have no further questions.
Mr. Schoeman? Okay. Any questions? Okay. Would you have any re-examination, Mr. Coltman? Okay, sorry about that. Mr. Muller, are you with us? Any questions?
My lady, I am with you. I don't. It is again a bad communication day, but we do not have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Does that cover Mr. Cillier as well?
Mr. Muller.
Doesn't look like he can still hear us.
Yes. We do not have any questions. I'm sorry. I thought you heard me.
Thank you, Mr. Muller. Any re-examination?
Me, no, my lady. I was just glad that we don't have to take any questions from either Mr. Muller or Cillier. Okay. That is all. That's all I can present.
But at least this time you did not include Mr. Coltman.
No, I'll see him when I get back there again. The other people, with the exception of Mr. Coltman, I thank them for the way they conducted themselves with the examination of Mr. du Plessis. If the court can please convey that. Thank you very much.
And Lady, I second that. I second that. It was not an easy exercise, but I found many reasons to be at ease in an environment conducive to the exchange of the truth. Okay. And I thank you also for your leadership.
Okay, that's good to hear. I just want to have one question for you. Apart from the concern that the teachers in question, that is some of the deceased in this matter, were spending more time attending to political matters than in the classroom, wasn't the greatest concern the fact that they were perceived as being the causes or contributing greatly to the uprising in the country at the time? Wasn't that the greatest concern? That they were being
Lady, can I ask?
Troublemakers, rabble-rousers.
Can I ask Mr. De Beer to assist me technically, because there's not so much an age difference between us, but there's definitely a difference in hearing ability. Can I ask his help to just properly know what you wanted me to hear, please?
Milady, I would gladly assist, but I'm beginning to change my opinion about Mr. du Plessis. I don't know if anybody can believe him. But what would it do?
Whether the biggest concern was rather not the fact that the teachers concerned were spending more time outside the classroom rather than in the classroom, but the greatest concern was that they were perceived as troublemakers, as stirring up unrest.
Well, Lady, I've now heard enough to attempt first half of the question, and Mr. De Beer can help me if I fall short. But I can assure you that the reports, but I can only remember Mr. Matthew Goniwe's report because it was so early in my ministership, and it was my first experience of the Oversight Committee. That report certainly explicitly said that Mr. Goniwe had received before several cautionary notes about spending more time on community matters outside of the classroom than at school. Now, I couldn't question that. That is the report that I received, underwritten by an entire committee of disciplinary officers, and I had no grounds at that moment in time to question it, so I accepted the veracity of that report.
Okay, thank you. Anything arising out of court's questioning?
No, thank you, my lady. Thank you very much for the opportunity for Mr. Du Plessis. Thank you all.
Thank you. I'll just echo the sentiments that were expressed by some of the representatives, thanking you for making the time to come and assist the inquest. Thank you very much. You may now be excused.
Thank you, my lady.
And with that, we will adjourn for lunch until 2 o'clock. Is that all we have for today?
We are only left with the continuation of the cross-examination of Mr. de Kock, which will take place tomorrow virtually. And we will, prior to our starting, we will then see your ladyship regarding the possible dates for the continuation.
Are you sure there's no more work for me?
My colleague really wanted to do some work.
We'll adjourn for the day.